You guys doing? Good. Okay, so let's start with names.
Okay, my name is Kai Martin.
I'm Annika Emerson.
Bree Reimer.
Ivy Elliott.
All right, fantastic. I think we jump right into it. My first question that I have for you guys is like when I say the term body image, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Like how you view yourself,
How? Yeah.
like
I guess-
physically.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I would say too.
Yeah, I'd say I think how you view yourself or others, or I think a lot of times like connotated with that is like what a lot of people see as like body ideals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean by body ideals?
Just like I feel like a lot of times there's a negative connotation with like what a healthy body looks like. And so like, you know, kind of what the media shows as a
Yes.
healthy body versus the fact that there are a lot of different ways.
Let's branch on that. How has social media affected the way you guys view yourselves?
I personally, I feel like I'd be lying if I said that it like never affected me at all. But I think I don't know. It wasn't even as a kid because I didn't really focus on models when I was younger. But I feel like there definitely is a stigma behind like the Kardashians or just like photoshopping, and just knowing that a lot of my friends have photoshopped their photos that they post on Instagram.
And all you're taking in, and like there's so much like diet culture online too, and that's what you're taking in from such a young age where your brain like isn't fully developed. It's like, oh well, everyone else is doing that, so that's what I should do.
Yeah, and then also like the what I eat in a day is kind of like,
Oh
my
God.
god.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
What are your guys' experiences with diet culture? Let's get into it, because that's something that I do
used
not
to have
like.
MyFitnessPal, and then I stopped using it when it was like, you're not reaching enough calories for the day. And I was like, great, okay, let's not use that then. And it was definitely a negative impact because my whole family was using it, and then like to count their calories, and then I realized that counting my calories was like essentially making me want to lower my MyFitnessPal, and then I stopped using it when it was like, you're not reaching enough calories for the day. And I was like, great, okay, let's not use that then. And it was definitely a negative impact because my whole family was using it, and then like to count their calories, and then I realized that counting my calories was like essentially making me want to lower my calories, even if it was like, I don't know, even if I was perfectly normal.
You said that your whole family was using MyFitnessPal. Does anybody else have experiences with body image and like family stuff? Because I noticed that those two things go very hand in hand.
My mom used to be sort of like an almond mom, where she would, I would tell her I was hungry, and she said, you can eat a fruit. And I said, I don't really feel like eating a fruit right now. I'm a bit hungrier than that. And she would say, well, that's kind of all that you're going to have, you know? Or, this is a little dark, but she used to bribe me to lose weight, because she kept going on like keto diet and like the
Paleo.
Yep. Yeah, she would go through all of these dieting fads because she would read about them in magazines and see them online, and she would, you know, my mom has always struggled with her own body image, and that reflected on me really strongly.
Do you think that that's had an influence on you like in your adulthood? Does that
It
something
is-
that sticks with you?
Yeah, it's probably like one of the biggest like influences on my mental health as well. Because it's my mom, you know, and we look the same, which really hurts that she doesn't like her body when I look exactly like her.
Yeah, my mom, I also grew up with kind of like an almond mom. We had like a rule, like we just had a lot of like food-based rules in our household, like no snacks during these specific time periods, like before dinner, or like after a certain time after dinner, or like one of the things my dad would always say, like, okay, if you are hungry but you don't want an apple, you're not hungry, you're bored.
Yep.
And it's like, well, no, I just don't want an apple. It's also been like a thing, because I've, you know, as I feel like a lot of people have had struggles with like eating stuff, like just like eating issues surrounding eating. But yeah, like one thing I'm trying to reteach myself, and then in turn kind of like help my parents understand, is like body neutrality, just like not commenting on people's bodies.
Minding your own business.
Or even like the thing is like what I like, I remember one time I just made a comment like, oh, I've gained a little bit of weight recently. I didn't mean it negatively or positively.
Right.
It was just like, a statement.
Observational,
And like
yeah.
both of my parents were like, no, you look so good. I'm like, what I don't think you understand
didn't
is
say
that I don't
that.
see this as a bad thing.
Right.
And I feel like it's just like body neutrality is so important because like yes, body positivity is important, but sometimes that can get a little
Yep.
not or like really like kind of like underhanded.
Yeah, it falls into a gray area where I don't know whether I want to improve myself or just stay where I am. Like it's important to like where I am.
Hard. It's like I don't know. People would always be like, this sounds like low-key picky, but they're like, you're so small. But like I don't want to hear that because that's like I want to stay like that then. Like
Yeah.
and I know I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But like you telling me that, like I'm taking it as a compliment because I know you mean it like that. But like now it's harder for me to want to get better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had some pretty weird experiences with disordered eating and food stuff in the past, and it seems like that seems to be like a pretty general consensus both in this room and among like almost all of the women I know.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think that is?
I kind of grew up like really closely like on the internet just because of like the interest that I had. Like I was just on there a lot, and specifically you mentioned Tumblr earlier. I was on there because I liked, all of these nerdy stuff when I was in middle school, and I would see the sort of like aesthetic movement of like 2014, 2015 of really tiny thigh gap, like all of these like you have to be super pale, you have to be tiny, you have to look like this, and those images like specifically for me like were just like flooded everywhere I went, like Pinterest, Tumblr, Instagram.
No, I feel like for me, like a lot of how I was growing up was a lot of like the adult women in my life, like whether they knew it or not, perpetuated a lot of like those really unhealthy ideals. Like I grew up in like both dance and cheer.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, and so like common phrases in dance were like, oh, like tuck in your tummy, don't let me see your lunch.
Yep.
Or like our cheer coach during like team dinners would be like, you can only fill it this half. If you fill it too high and dumping it out, you have to restart.
Wow.
Because she's like, you have to look cute in your outfits tomorrow. I'm like, some of the kids on this team are like 12 and 13. Like that's such a crazy, and she never was like, oh, it'll be bad. It was just like, oh, like this is normal. This is what you should do.
Right.
They don't even realize
Because
it's
a lot
wrong.
of times I feel like so much of this is presented to like that age of people as not like an overly super positive or overly super negative thing, just like, oh yeah, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is what's normal. And so like you grow up thinking that like eating like that and seeing bodies out in the world like that is just normal because like that's how it is.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Like my instructor, I noticed throughout the years, she always went for the skinny girls to be in the front. And that was just, I don't know if she did it on purpose. Like they were also good dancers, but it's just like, what is her whole thing with these girls of, I mean, they did have long legs, which is a good dance thing, but it's just like they all are very skinny, like very, very skinny. And I don't know, it's just throughout the years when you'd get the costume measurements with the tape measurer, it was just always looking at all these numbers and then seeing you bigger than your friends or smaller than your friends, wanting to maintain your costume size right now because it's like, oh, I look good right now. I can't be anything bigger than what I am right now. So,
Yeah, something that I've definitely noticed is that like those beauty standards being perpetuated are not always inherently a negative thing. It sometimes just is. Who do we think benefits from that?
Men.
Will you elaborate?
I think when you look at things like things like the most popular page on like porn for men, it's tiny young women who look like they're 18 and they're wearing pigtails. It's pedophilic.
Yes.
I think a lot of like men want women to look smaller so they can have more control over them. It also falls under like the pink tax of like women need to want to look like this so they can spend more money on Pilates classes and activewear and makeup and all of this stuff. It's part of the control over women, like under
And
capitalism.
what are the most important things in every store? Women's clothes and makeup. The most expensive thing in every store. Every time.
All of the fitness blends, all of the juice cleanse stuff, all of the like detox, all of the special like health stuff.
Yeah.
It's important for you to feel good, but a lot of that stuff is marketed in a way that is kind of evil.
The person that the group that benefits the most from our perpetuation of body standards is consumerism.
Yep.
I have one more question for the crowd, and then we will wrap it up. But I've heard the word fat come up quite a few times in this discussion, and I'd like to go down the line and just know like what people's thoughts on that word are, what the connotations around it are, how it makes you feel.
I don't think fat means ugly. I think fat can also mean gorgeous. I think fat is just a basic word, like skinny. I think fat and skinny are the same thing. It's just however the person feels.
Right.
I don't know. Like just because someone's fat doesn't mean they're ugly. It means that they're fat. It doesn't,
Right.
but it shouldn't have any negative connotation behind it. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, just because like skinny has been seen as like the ideal, it feels like a lot of times like the word fat is used as the opposite of that, when it's just a descriptor. It's a neutral term.
Yes.
Like it's not good or bad. It's neutral. It just exists. It just is.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Yeah.
This was
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Organizing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.